So now, the nitric oxide system modulates the immune response and increases blood flow. If the damage from the free radicals is great enough, glutathione levels will drop, and then again the system is there. So again, it's all about balance. I don't want you to try to learn all these different words and understand this, but I want you to know it's not as simple as just taking one product and it's going to keep you anti-aging forever. You know, that's not how it works. So the nitric oxide system works by 3 enzymes. There's called N-NOS, there's E-NOS, and I-NOS. The inducible, which is the I, is the bad guy. Its activity promotes inflammation, arterial plaque buildup, and so forth, and then can lead to the chronic diseases that we all know people have, like fibromyalgia and post-traumatic stress. Again, post-traumatic stress, you say, well, how's that? Well, remember I said emotions are one of the most looked at causes for aging and anti-aging relationships. And so when you're in war or some type of heavy stress, your body is utilizing everything it possibly can have in its storehouses to protect itself from going on. And so if we're not eating right and we're dieting too much, we're not eating the right foods, then our body can't make these things to protect us, and we have these problems. So balancing the NOS system is critical for optimum health and is done by increasing glutathione and promoting these methylation systems. Sounds simple. Now, eicosanoids. Eicosanoids are hormones that work within the cell. And this is the most important part. All cellular function is based on these chemicals. Remember that. All cellular function is based by eicosanoids. So heart disease, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, inflammatory disease, autoimmune cancer, depression are all directly related to these eicosanoid imbalances. We don't hear about that. So the important thing is just keep these in a balanced structure. Now, so good eicosanoids. They're good and bad. It's like I said, there's a balance. So the good eicosanoids inhibit platelet aggregation. If platelets aggregate, that's what causes a clot. That's what balls up inside a particular vessel and can cause a problem. They get sticky. Okay. What also happens is this. We know in playing with magnets, if you have a negative and a positive, what do? They attract each other. If you take 2 positives, what happens? They repel. The outside of cells all have the same polarity. So as they go through the system, they're always bouncing away from each other. If the cell wall gets damaged and the inside polarity is now visible, guess what they do? The eicosanoids help that from happening. Okay? It also causes vasodilation, so which means it opens up the blood vessels. So if you have poor circulation, it could be caused from these eicosanoids. Eicosanoids are also anti-inflammatory. They keep that inflammation down. Everybody in the world reacts to a certain color. And there's 3 major colors that we react to. One is red, one is blue, and one is green. And red people have a tendency to not do well with wheat. Okay? Green people, they're not very good with chemicals, and blue people, not good with dairy. And I'm a blue person. And I was wondering about 5, 6, 7 years ago, I was wondering why my thumbs were hurting so bad. I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue to practice because my thumbs hurt so bad. I used to stand like this in the office rubbing my thumbs before I worked on the next person. Until I realized, I was eating more dairy than I was accustomed to. So I cut down the dairy, did some things for my liver to help balance out my system, and now my thumbs are as good as they were 30 years ago. So we think, oh, I just have the big arthritis. I guess I'm doomed. I have to take these drugs to reduce my arthritis. No, look for the cause of the arthritis, not that you have it. Earlier in my career, I was told that arthritis is, arthritic in your spine is devastating and causes pain. Earlier in my career, I found out that that's not true. I had 2 individuals come in, a mother and a daughter. They're both in a car accident. Okay? I took x-rays of their spine. The mother said that she didn't have any pain because she was looking straight ahead and her head was back and she didn't get jostled. The daughter had a lot of pain. When I took their x-rays, the mother had severe arthritis, but no pain. I mean, the mother had severe arthritis. The daughter had no arthritis, but she had severe pain. So the individual with a lot of arthritis had no pain. The individual with no arthritis had a lot of pain. So I said, why is that? So I watched this lady for a long time, and even though her neck was degenerating terribly, she didn't have pain. It's the function of those joints and the things that we're talking about, balancing out these anti-inflammatory issues, which reduces the pain. So just because you have a so-called degenerative joint, that doesn't mean you have to have pain. Also, the glucocorticoids control cell proliferation, which is how it grows, and it encourages a proper immune function. Now the beta-carotenoids do the exact opposite. They promote platelet aggregation, they cause vasoconstriction, they're pro-inflammatory, they promote cellular proliferation too much, and they suppress immune function. Now all carotenoids come from essential fatty acids. This is where we're talking about why do I need essential fatty acids and how much and so forth. So if we look at the top, fatty acids come in 3 families. On the far left is omega-6s. Omega-6s are pretty much made from oils like corn, safflower, borage, black currant seed oil and so forth, and they're good, there's not a bad thing. And then there's the saturated fats, which are the red meats, butter, cream, milk, cheese, and shellfish and egg yolks, and that comes from those. And then there's the family 3, which is the omega-3s, which is the fish oils and the flaxseed, walnut oil, and chia seeds and so forth. So if we were ancients, we were hunter-gatherers, we would be moving around throughout the country trying to get away from the weather and so forth and going from different areas as things became more plentiful. We would be eating these different things throughout our life and throughout sometimes the day and weeks and so forth in balance. But what happens is that we live in the center of the country, and a lot of people don't eat much fish. I don't like fish. But if you grew up on the coast, trust me, you like fish because you'd get it from a young age and that's all you had to eat. See? So what happens is we don't get a lot of the omega-3s. Omega-3s won't gel. So if you put them in the refrigerator, they don't get hard. Okay, so if you put fish oil in the refrigerator, it doesn't get hard. Okay? So, but omega-3s in plants are only grown in the northern part of the United States, not the southern part. See what I'm talking about? So it's different because omega-3s prevent fish from freezing in the ocean. Whereas if they were made with omega-6s and the water got cold, they just gel up. You see? So we need both. And so what happens, you say, okay, if we look down here, it says right here, most beta-carotenoids, when there's 3 types of carotenoids, prostaglandins, leukotrienes, and hydroxylated fatty acids. And you say, well, wouldn't it be nice to just stop that right there and we wouldn't get all these? Or we won't stop eating the saturated fats, we won't get arachidonic acid. Well, remember I said there's glucocorticoids and beta-carotenoids. Well, if you block that, most people who are on COX inhibitors end up with stomach problems. Because the carotenoid that they also block is the one that prevents the stomach from bleeding. So in the human body, it's not, you just can't take a medication, and have to fix it. What's the definition of a good medication compared to a bad one? First of all, you got to know all medications have side effects. Okay? A good medication is a product that has fewer side effects than others. That's the difference. Every time you take a medication, there is a side effect. You got to know that. See, there's no minimum daily requirement for a medication. It doesn't exist. So, are medications good? Of course they're good in certain circumstances. Should we be on them forever? No. First of all, if we need a medication, you should take it, and then you should change your life and the choices that medication is attempting to help so you don't need it anymore. But what do? We're told what? Once you get on this, You're on it forever. Well, it's easy to do that. Once you take this, then what happens with people? They take a medication and soon they need another medication. Why? Because of the side effects from the first one, which then causes the third one and fourth one. Also understand that when they do medication research, it's one medication on an individual. But how many people only take just one medication? So where's the research with these two medications and how they react? But how about the research for these two and this one, these three? Or these two and these two? It doesn't exist. We don't know how these medications are affecting us. So the bottom line takeaway this is, if you can do it naturally with changing your diet, changing your choices and so forth, you want to do that. Because once you get on the medication, it's a downward spiral. Now again, sometimes we have to take it. So I'm not saying get all rid of your medications. Don't take that home. That's not the take home. Or I'm going to just throw all my medication away. No. You can't just do that. You have to be responsible. If you can say, listen, I want off of this, then you have to find out what's the pathway, who's on my team, and how I can get my medical practitioners to work with me to move in that direction. Does that make sense? Okay? Good. So, we can see that omega-6s are anti-inflammatory eicosanoids here, but they can also be shunted to arachidonic acid, which will make inflammation. They can do both. So again, it's all about balance. So stopping production of eicosanoids with NSAIDs or steroids sounds good, but there are good eicosanoids. Like I said, most people on steroids gain weight, become depressed, have trouble sleeping, develop brittle bones, and so on, because they block the good eicosanoids as well as the bad ones. You see? So short term, it may be, oh, I'm in pain. Oh, that feels much better. But taking it for long periods of time, now I'm developing other problems. You see? So we have to balance those out. So eicosanoids regulate all human function by controlling the cellular function. So the cell is what is the most important part. And the cell is like an image of the outside. The cell has a brain, it has a way to detoxify itself, and it has a way to repair itself, and so forth. So eating balanced amounts of good oils is important. American diet is full too many of omega-6s. Why? Because they're easy. Everything that's in a box or a bag is usually omega-6. So that's why if you heard me say no cakes, cookies, candy, sugar, sweets, pop, and ice cream, pasta, potatoes, and bread, and alcohol, those are all things that are in boxes and bags. You know? I tell people, if it doesn't swim, cluck, moo, grow off a tree, or grow out of the ground, don't eat it. It's as simple as that. If your great-grandmother wouldn't recognize it as food, don't eat it. You see? And a lot of people say, well, Doc, it's expensive to eat healthy. I understand. But remember, there's a trade-off. If you eat healthy here, you get healthy. But if you don't eat healthy here, you get sick. So you get a choice. Do you want to spend your money over here and stay healthy, or spend your money over here at the doctor's office? See? It's like going on an expressway. Expressways, you can pay different ways. You can pay when you get on, you can pay along the way, or you can pay when you get off. I recommend you pay earlier, because you get the benefit of then driving the whole trip. But if you wait till the end, you don't know how much the fee is, or the fare is. And it may be more expensive than you're willing to pay. And so make better choices along the way and pay it early, rather than wait until late. And remember I said before, it's never a good idea to only eat the same thing over and over again. We got to eat varied foods, because that's how nature is. We get a little bit from different places. And I can tell you, the more stress you have, the more difficult it is to be a vegetarian. The most sickest people I've ever seen in my life are so-called non-meat eaters. I classify non-meat eaters into two categories: true educated vegetarians and idiots. A person who says, I'm a vegetarian, and I ask them if they eat like mung beans and different types of things and so forth, they go no, then I classify them as an idiot. Because they're on a trail, because they got this thing, I just don't eat meat. But what do you eat? Well, I eat corn. What else? Well, corn. Okay? So they're idiots, you see? Now, is it good to be a vegetarian? Yes. But the amount of stress that we're under these days, it's very difficult to get as much of the food you need to consume in the amounts that you need to get everything out of it. So I'm not a proponent of true vegetarianism for most people. Do I recommend people do it if that's their lifestyle and they do it correctly? Yes, but you have to, there's more than just. Vegetarianism is not just a way of eating, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. It's balancing your stress, balancing your exercise, balancing all that, you know. Even the emotional, spiritual side, it's all part of that. So that's important. So avoid bad fats. This is one of the most important things. You know, man-made synthetic processes increase and disrupt eicosanoids, and it can be a real problem. So if you can just eat things that are real, you're better off. Now, does it have to be organic? No. I'd rather you eat organic here at the top, but then vegetables, and then from there on down. But just make the best choice you can make. That's all I'm asking. Saturated fats in combination with sugar increase insulin. Now, let's say a person goes out and they exercise for 20 minutes. They're exercising, they're sweating, they're lifting weights, and then they get a sugary drink. That sugary drink promotes insulin. Pow! All that exercise is for naught. You didn't burn a calorie, your body doesn't utilize anything, it just stopped all the processes. As soon as insulin is kicked in, all that exercise is for naught. So you never want to eat something sugary after you exercise. Well, you never should eat something sugary at all, but especially after you exercise, because it blocks all the good stuff about exercise. Because insulin has the strongest influence of all the eicosanoids, and it promotes more of the inflammatory process. This is why sugar is the most inflammatory product in our market that we consume. And the average American eats up to approximately 170 pounds a year. Now, I eat no sugar, so if I eat no sugar, that means somebody's eating my portion. Right? That's how he gets 170 pounds. See? So watch out for sugar. If I can, now, I made this statement years ago, and I'll say it again so it's, you know, immortalized on our, you know, on our website. If we don't have a healthcare problem in this country, we have an eating problem in this country. If we can get rid of sugar and just sugar alone, if I was king and I got rid of sugar, 60% of the American doctors would be out of business in 3 to 5 years. Allergies, immune system problems, obesity problems, blood pressure problems, cholesterol problems, heart problems, bowel problems, anxiety problems, depression problems, all those things would disappear. Disappear. So if you think of the chronic illnesses we have, you know, would all disappear if we give up sugar. See? But that won't happen. See, we're always looking for, I want the cake and eat it too. Sorry, it doesn't happen. See, it just doesn't happen that way. So the major effect of the oils result when people consume both omega-3s and omega-6s in balance. Okay? That's why it's important to keep everything in balance. So here's a summary. You know, things that make us sick are the same things that can accelerate aging. So if it makes you sick, it's going to accelerate your aging. Disease and functional illness originate from dysfunction inside the cells. Keep your cells healthy, your body's healthy. Slowing biological aging begins with a strong defense of your DNA, which is what we talked about, making sure your antioxidants and everything is up to par. When cells are stressed, replication is increased and total cellular lifespan decreases. Again, important. And telomeres must be kept as long as possible with proper health and lifestyle habits. So telomeres must be kept as long as possible with proper lifestyle habits, and inflammation-free minerals must be minimized with antioxidants, and CoQ10 and glutathione are important. Remember, these are the things that up here that cause the problem, and these are the things that affect the problem. Now, people say, oh, that's well and good, but I can't do that. That's why you can't do that. Well, I just can't. I'm addicted. I can't change my diet. I can't exercise. Well, the truth of the matter is I have more faith in human beings than human beings have in themselves. Because what I know is human beings are very, very powerful individuals. They can do anything they put their mind to. And I'll explain it this way. All the ladies in here, let's say tonight, while you're sleeping, I go into your home or your children's home and I kidnap your child or your youngest grandson or granddaughter. And I put them away somewhere, and I put them in a little room. And I take you and I put you in another room somewhere. And in the room that you're in, there's a TV like this on every wall. And when the TV comes on, there's your favorite grandson or grandchild or son or daughter with a gun to its head. And the caption says, if you eat something sweet, the child dies. And all along the bottom of the room are your favorite desserts. Do you eat them? As soon as you do, as soon as you touch that to your mouth, child dies. Do you eat them? What if I leave you in there for a month and there's nothing to eat but those sweets and all you see is your grandchild up there on the picture? Do you eat them? Every single mother to this date, and even man, has said, I would rather die than watch my loved one, be shot. So what I tell them is, you're a lying sack of protoplasm. A minute ago you told me you couldn't give up sugar, and now you're saying you're willing to die. See, because what I know is that you can do anything. What I know is with passion and decision and commitment, you can do anything. Even will yourself to die for a better purpose of saving someone else. So, make better choices. Love yourself enough to know that the choices you make will affect you and also the people around you. Because we all love each other and we love you all. And so do it. You can't do it for yourself, do it for someone you care about. So, anti-aging and the fountain of youth exist in your choices. Thank you.